Well, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to spend a little time with us today. Our session today will be going beyond the general ledger with Spreadsheet Server FM report conversion. And to give you a refresher on Spreadsheet Server does allow you to do real-time live and dynamic reporting within Microsoft Excel. So our motto at Global Software is start and end your day in Excel with Spreadsheet Server. But what we're going to be focusing on today is taking a look at how to take an FM report and convert it to a Spreadsheet Server report. So we know you've spent a lot of time in FM and creating all of those great FM reports, and we certainly don't want that time to be wasted. So we'll walk you through this step by step and show you how you can easily convert all of those FM reports. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and share my desktop with you, and your screen should transition to an Excel spreadsheet. So you can see that the finished product, the Spreadsheet Server report, is in Excel. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the FM piece. So going into FM, opening up a report there, and getting it to Excel to allow you to create a live and dynamic Spreadsheet Server report with that content. So we'll start by opening up Financial Manager. And when you open up Financial Manager, your first step is going to be to launch the Financial Manager client. So that's going to actually launch FM for you and allow you to select the report that you'd like to convert from FM. So we'll give it just a second to open up here, verify, do all of that fun stuff. So once I get to my FM login screen, what I'll do is I'll select my FM sample system, enter in my password. Of course, this would be your unique password, not mine. So we'll go ahead and log in here. And once I get into Financial Manager, what I'm going to do is go to the Tools menu under Financial Reporter and select Reporting. So when I select Reporting, it's going to pull up all of the reports that I would like to utilize. So we have some canned reports, some job cost reports. What I'm going to do is from those canned reports, select my consolidated balance sheet. So by double-clicking on that consolidated balance sheet, it's going to open it up for me, and I'm going to select Bridge Builders. This is the one that I'd like to look at. And when I select Bridge Builders, I can select Execute, and that will execute this report. So you can see it went ahead and opened that report up in Financial Manager for me. Now, you'll have to look pretty hard, but you'll notice a little tiny Excel icon. And what that Excel icon is going to do is allow you to take this report and convert it to an Excel format. So that's going to be the very first step to getting it to a Spreadsheet Server report, is using that Excel icon to convert the report to the Excel format that you'd like. So when I click on that icon, that's exactly what Financial Manager is going to do, is take this report and put it in that Excel format for me. And from that point forward, you'll see that Excel is launching. It's going to open up the Excel workbook. And then you'll notice now we are in Excel and we can start doing that conversion. So same report, you'll notice that all of the numbers in this report are static. We've got some formulas that pulled over for my consolidated and combined. But as I click through these numbers, they're just static numbers here in a spreadsheet. So what we need to do at this point is use Spreadsheet Server to get some live numbers in this spreadsheet and be able to pull in some real-time live and dynamic data. So this is my favorite part of the process because this is where all of the fun starts. So I'm going to start off with my first balance, my cash and cash equivalents. And what I'll do is I'll go to my Spreadsheet Server add-in. Remember, we are in Excel here. This is just an Excel add-in. And I'll select my Build a Template Wizard. This is what I use to get started. So it's got a little wand. I like to call this my magic wand because I do think that many of the things that Spreadsheet Server does are very, very similar to magic. And in this Build a Template Wizard, what I'll do is I'll select from my list of formulas. Now, we're building a balance sheet, so what I want to do is use my general ledger formula. And so that's going to pull a value from the general ledger. The great thing about using this formula is that I don't need to be familiar with files or fields or tables in the Viewpoint database to be able to make my selections here. You'll notice when I go to the middle of the screen, I have some very simple accounting parameters that I can select that will pull the correct information into the report for me. So the first thing I'm going to select is my balance type. Well, I want to look at actuals here. We're pulling in my balance sheet information. My next selection would be my year, so I'm going to select the year that I'd like to report on in the report. Select 2011. format will look at this information in a life-to-date format. So when you're building a balance sheet, that life-to-date format is going to show you the beginning of the year balance as well as the current activity. And this report is looking at information as of December, so we're going to say life-to-date is a period 12. Over here on the right, you'll notice there is an option to clear worksheet, do not clear worksheet, or shift worksheet data. I'm going to select the shift worksheet data option because that's going to basically make space in this worksheet for my spreadsheet server formula. So I'll select shift worksheet data, then I'll come down to my account segments and define where I'd like to place those on the row or the column. So I'm going to place the company, the cost center, and the position all in the column, and leave my natural account as the only segment on the row. You can set this up however you'd like. If you want to put cost centers on the row, that's certainly fine. And then in the value window, you can then select the values that you'd like to look at. So you'll notice when I click this little lookup window, it's going to pull in all of my companies, so I can select a company from here. I'm going to leave this as a wildcard to look at all companies. For my natural account, I'm going to pull this up, and you'll notice my first line item is cash and cash equivalents. So I'm going to select cash as my first account number. And then cost center and position I'll leave as a wildcard. So we'll just leave those as looking at everything. And that's all I have to do to get started. Just identify those very simple accounting parameters. I've got my Shift Worksheet Data button on. I'll go ahead and insert that formula into the spreadsheet, and you can see what it did was it shifted the worksheet data and it pushed a formula into Excel. So I can very easily hide these parameters, so if I don't want to see those, I can just hide those. We'll go ahead and group those also, so it'll take me back to the way my report looked to start, and I want to expand row 13 to make sure we can see all of our logos that we had up there before. And so you'll see for my natural account, I now have just a single account, account 1000. But you'll see for mine, I have cash and cash equivalents. So I might want to look at multiple accounts here. So we'll say I want to look at 1000 and we'll say 1000 through 11,220. And then I'll just close the bracket, hit enter. Oh, look at that. We have a formula. So I can go ahead and drill down on that formula to take a look at the detail behind that number. And so when I drill down, you can see that it's drilling down. It's going to give me some real-time data, which is awesome. And then from here, this is where it gets really fun, because all I have to do is just identify the other account numbers that fall on my balance sheet, and it will allow me to then copy this formula into each cell to build a real-time report. Now, I've cheated a little bit. I have the account numbers set up over here on the side, so I can just copy them over. So I'll just take these, oops, and I'm going to copy them into my report. Okay, so now that I have an account number set up for each row, I'm going to have to copy the column over as well. So we're going to copy this across a couple columns. Okay, so now I've got my parameters on the column, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that formula into every single cell. So you'll notice as I start copying that formula down, each one of these numbers start updating. I'm just going to keep on going all the way down my report. Whoops. Copy that in here. We've got one last little section. Oh, I don't think I've copied the account numbers down that far. And then I would just copy across those other columns as well. So we'll say I just, for fun's sake, I'll copy this over as well. But I've actually already got this report that I've converted for you, so I can see, I can just show you the end product. But you can see getting from here to this report, which has every single cell populated with a number, is just adding that formula into each cell that needs to be live and dynamic. And once that's done, I've set up a little drop down here where I can control the period. So I can come back and say, oh, I want to look at period 9. Just kidding, I want to look at period 7. Nope, That looks good. I need to look at period 10. Now I'm working with real-time live and dynamic data. So within a matter of 10 minutes, I've taken an FM report, pulled it into Excel, and added spreadsheet server formulas to make it live and dynamic. And you can do this with all of your FM reports. So Spreadsheet Server is designed to allow you to do all of that reporting that you've done in FM, but now in Excel in a live and dynamic format with drill-down capability. So we'll go ahead and close this education session going beyond the general ledger with Spreadsheet Server FM report conversion. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to visit our website. Our service and support numbers are on there as well as our help desk email, and we'd love to talk to you. Have a great day.